All right, folks, it's Tor here again, Appalachian Grit. So what do I intend to do about my power situation? And how do I power 200 acres off grid, no electrical power from the grid whatsoever? How do I power it now, and what do I intend to do about it moving forward with starting businesses and all of this stuff? Well, let's get into it. As of now, I'll give you the general gist, and eventually, as I get more equipped here, I'll bring you around and I'll show you the systems. And when I start building the new, because I'm quadrupling what I have, and I have redundant systems. If you know what that is, then it means there's multiples in case failure of one. So, and multiple redundance of components as well. This is all stuff I prepared ahead of time when I had good money and I was still kind of one foot in the world. So diligence in all things, but if you believe God, you got to prepare ahead of time. Anyways, what I have right now, I've got a rack I built. It's a single rack of solar panels. It's big ones, like 400-watt ones. They're the old school Panasonic HITs, which are still up among the top. I think they're discontinued now, but they're still some of the best panels out there. Nowadays, I think you can get something like Canadian Solar, which is on par, maybe even slightly better now. Technology keeps evolving, but either way, they're good. I bought them brand new back in the day. And I've got about 3,000 watts, and that's enough. And I have my whole array angled according to my winter-summer happy medium, slightly more tilted to get better performance in the winter. And then what I have for equipment for like an inverter, let's go charge controllers. I use the FlexMax 80s from Outback Solar, I think, Outback Power. I've had great luck with them. They are high quality, bar none. They're about $500-600 a pop. The 80 amp per. They work great. They work for my batteries well because I've got very special batteries that nobody else will do. But they are still, even by far now, best bang for your buck. And they've gotten me far. Anyways, those are my charge controllers, and then I get to my battery bank, basically the heart of the system. How do I power it through days of this and that? I use what are known as, all right, you know the Tesla Model S or X, those cars from Tesla? What I have is those battery modules that I got from a company that no longer exists, but I got more from another company that shipped them in for me. And these are all like tested, high quality. They're not degraded or damaged or anything. They're basically brand new. There's somebody crashed their Tesla, but the undercarriage where the batteries are stored are still pristine. So they parcel them out into separate modules, and that's what I use. And they work great. The voltage is a little wonky, so you need to know what you're doing. Like, I'm good with electrical type stuff, okay? Physics, electrical engineering, like, I'm good with that. So I understand it. And if you know how to do it, like, you build in your own BMSs, which I have, and I build in macro systems and also with manual overrides. I do not trust computers, man. I hate that shit because that's always what fails, you know? And I don't like soldering on circuitry. I hate it. I hate desoldering. I hate soldering on circuitry. I've got fat fingers. I mean, my hands are so damn callous that I could barely use touch screens anymore. And I'm not kidding. It's a pain in the butt. So, anyways, I use the Tesla Model S modules. I have a bunch of extras that I have not even used. I'm only using, I think presently, that's running the 200 acres right now. That's all of my fencing is electric, folks, and polywire. It's like this. Thinner than this. That's what keeps my cows and stuff in because all of my real heavy duty fencing was stolen. So I had to do whatever I had to do, and that's what I had. Luckily, they were already trained to electrical. Some of them still misbehave. Trees fall on it, it bounces back. And I use I'll do a whole video one day when I can get you out there and show you around more homesteading stuff and the practical applications in your faith, like how you do this thing. At least how I've done it and how I've learned. You can learn from my mistakes. You do it for the cheapest way possible, but the maximum functionality. I don't sacrifice function. If it doesn't function, it's not even an option. But if it functions and it's quality enough to last, that's where I will try to get I'll source the cheapest version. I knew there was evil afoot. As I say, fuckery afoot. There's always some shit going down. Anyways, I got the Tesla batteries. I've got extras. I plan on expanding my system over 4 times, but I need to build structure for that. And my solar array, which will be the one that I presently have, then I'll have another 10 to 13,000 watt, so 13 kilowatt hour or kilowatt array plus my 3,000. So pretty decent. And I've got 2,000 watt wind turbines, 15 blade, either 11 or 15 blade turbines from Missouri Wind and Solar. I don't have it set up yet. I've got to clear some land and build a tower for it. But that'll be good. And then my solar array, when I do that, because it's going to be a massive building just for the roof, and I'm going to make it single pitched, and then it's going to have functional storage underneath. It'll probably be a barn or I don't know, whatever, just anything. Park side-by-sides and four-wheelers in it, or put hay in it, or stash animals in it. I just don't need them chewing on the wires. So it'll probably be more of a garage or a barn. But the solar panels will be used for rainwater collection as well, because any square inch of roofing space, whether it be anything that collects water, I try to maximize here. Because digging a well up this high is expensive and it's not guaranteed, and it's a gamble, and I'm not much for gambling. I used to be one hell of a poker player, but I don't think that's kosher with God. Let's put it that way, and it's not right. You know what I mean? I'm good at calling people's bluffs and knowing when they're bluffing, but I think we should stay away from that kind of stuff. Irrelevant. Anyways. So I've got the solar system that's going to be expanded. That's going to be coming up. I intend to show you about all of that. I'm going to show you how I hook up the wind. That's a new thing for me. I understand how it works. So I will show you how the electrical goes if you're into that stuff, and then I'll let you know how it performs. And let's see here. And then I have generators. I have backups to backups too, folks. I've got about 5 different generators. 2 of which I have them on they're in the batter's box and one's on deck. So the rest are in the dugout. I just keep them in storage. They're winterized, ready to go when I need them. Just accumulated stuff over the years, thought ahead, just because, you never know. What else? Well, that's basically how I do it. And then I have power banks, like those self-autonomous mobile ones. This isn't mobile. This is a whole house one. It's what is it? It's a Blue Eddy AC500 with the B300S battery modules. Expensive as hell. Not as powerful as my Tesla, but it is going to be used as I think it's a UPC, an uninterrupted power supply, UPS. And I've got a whole system designed, so if something happens to me, like if my family ever does come here to inherit, or I have a wife or children or a neighbor needs to use everything I've built, they wouldn't have to mess around about it. Because the reality is I'm the BMS. And without me and my knowledge, it's too much for the average person. Nobody's going to understand it. I have it all written out for them, but still, I have it written out on here. It's voltage ranges, what equates to 100 and 0, and never to go below this. And then if you do, never charge. And then temperature ranges. It's like, optimal, max voltage, like what's dangerous, how you could explode the damn thing, how you can damage it, and then decrease your capacity. It's beyond most people's heads. But it's just going to run. And it's just going to run. That's the goal here. Set everything up to where it'll just run, eliminate all of the electrical, computer-based programs, and put in rugged, not necessarily manual, but more robustly automated relay systems to be able to deal with it. Okay? You know, you've got like over and under voltage protection relays that will shut off power. You've got isolation relays, which will isolate one battery bank from another, like you have in vehicles like RVs and stuff. What do we have? We've got excess power. What the hell is that called? It's usually a charge controller triggers it. It goes to, it's a dump relay. We'll talk about that because I'm also going to be using, hot water. How am I going to heat water? I'm going to use excess power to heat a DC coil for a water tank, and then have a buried in the ground, what do you call it? Thermal battery, essentially, with water storage, probably a few, maybe 1,000 or 2,000 gallons of water storage underneath. And this is all stuff you can drive over, folks. So this is the plan. And it's going to just store hot water. And also on top of it, I have in the works of is using solar hot water heaters, and then just little 12-volt pumps with redundant circuits with whatever. I don't need to get into it. I'll do the details when we get to it. If you're interested in this kind of stuff, let me know, because stay tuned, because we'll get into it, and I'll be bringing you around. I've got a GoPro. I'm going to figure out how to work it. I can do time lapses, and then I have a mic. Actually, I got it in. Boom. This one should fit my old phone. And then here's the adapters for the adapters that are going to let me use the other one. So redundancy. And here's the original one that I got. I don't know. It got good reviews. It's all Chinese junk in my eyes, but if it functions, it functions. But what was I getting at? Yeah, solar water heaters, and then just little pumps to circulate. And I'm also talking about using excess electricity, excess solar radiation, excess anything, storing it and then utilizing it underground so it's never going to freeze, and then using excess power to circulate these fluids. Like I will probably use it to heat dwellings, like cabins. So you'll have basically like a old school radiator from the battery, from the what I just said it. It's not solar mass, but thermal mass battery, which will store not only just hot water, but it'll store solar or thermal energy. Usually, like sand, like quartz sand and whatnot, is pretty good. But we'll go through how I build these systems when I get to it. They're not hard to do. Oh shoot! And you want to know how I plan on powering my machines, like when shit hits the fan? Well, gasifiers are one thing. I've got plans in the works. We'll get to it all, but gasifiers and also fractional distillation, distillers, really, with multi-step filtering and inline gas filtering for the gaseous outputs, which will be like your propanes and your butanes, methanes and things. And that will be filtered, and if, depending on the chemical composition, either compressed and put into proper storage, like propane tanks, or used directly into inflatable bladders, which will be underground as well, but they'll have weights on top, and then that will be used for cooking, running generators, running small engines, not 4-stroke engines, not 2 strokes. But yeah, and the reason I'm going to do the gasifier thing and the fractional distillation thing is to create my own fuel out here. And yes, I know how to do it. Okay, so don't even get started. I'm a scientist, so yes, I can do it. I already know what to do, and there's a lot of plastic waste around here, or in general, and there's a lot of used tires, which will be perfect. Plus, I could take just general hardwoods and make it into gasoline or diesel or kerosene or something, which will run my diesel engines and my gas motors, so, and generators and whatnot. And yeah, what else? Methanol is another thing I can make out here with that same system. It's going to be a one-stop shop. And all of that heat that's generated, because it's all going to be wood-fired, and then it's going to be self-sustaining until this. So you're going to have charcoal, it's going to be made, and it's going to be charcoal gasification plus wood chips, and then the updraft gasifiers will be included in it. It'll be a whole building, let's put it that way. It's going to be like the fuel house where it'll be that, and then all of the fuel will be stored and then be used. And tell me that won't be beneficial for others when shit hits the fan. Having somebody like me around would be a lifesaver for most folks, for anybody really. But I was going to do all this for people that abandoned and betrayed me, so I still know how to do it. I might as well do it because there's going to be people that are still going to need help. And it's a good opportunity to show the goodness of God. You know what I mean? Because maybe then they'll listen. When things are uncomfortable, they'll finally listen. But anyways, if you're interested in any of these things and you want me to do a more detailed video on it, I'm happy to talk about it. These are just my plans and my ideas, long established plans and ideas. But if you want to know how to do it, I can try and walk you through it because it's useful for anybody in any circumstance. But I think I'm going to leave it there. Hopefully that answers your questions. That's how I power 200 acres off grid for now and in the future. We'll see you later.